All right, so who's talking that shit?
So that would be me, brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. Go on. So, thanks, kid. So basically, these guys said that you got only an hour because you got a waifu, you got a lady friend, and I said, so basically you're saying he's whipped. I said, no, you said that, and I said, hell yeah, I said that. But are you whipped?
Yeah. Tell him again.
Oh, he's gonna get mad at you.
When you don't see your partner for the entire week, you know, when you find out that you could see them a little bit sooner on the day you're supposed to see them, you'll make time to go see them. So I know it's a matter of being whipped or a matter of just wanting to see someone you care about a lot.
Yeah, it's like a whip.
Gemini.
Well, this is the thing, you see, guys. What you got to understand is nobody loves me, so I don't have anyone to see.
I feel that.
Okay,
Well,
so
don't let Proxy think that that applies to everyone that you know.
okay, so before we get in further into that, I want to introduce everybody to RJ Casual Hardcore Gamer. It's been a long time since we've been able to get a chance to get you in here, because I remember you were one of the first ones that I wanted you in here, and I couldn't get you in here, and I'm glad that you're here, because without you in here, it just wouldn't be right having a home away from YouTube video stream. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to try to keep this quick because you only have an hour, but I want to also welcome everybody who's here on the panel. Darker Things and Jen showed up, Fallen's here, Gemini, me, King of Lion Locks, and Rapid Glitch. Welcome everybody, and glad you're here. What I want to do is I want to keep it quick. I want to let you take over, RJ. And what I want really is for you, first of all, for you to kind of give a background of yourself and what started you out in gaming, what kind of games you're interested in, stuff like that. You know, where you see yourself going with your channel and stuff, you know, and go from there. So with that, I'm going to shut up so these guys get a chance to talk to you.
So you want me to talk first, or you want them to ask questions?
You talk first.
Okay, so what question do we want to start off with first?
Give us a little bit about yourself, you know, a little bit about your background, your gaming, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I'll start this off. Well, I've been playing games since I was a wee lad, since I was a wee boy, on the streets of Scarborough, hanging out with Gemini. Not really, but I've been playing games since I was probably 5, I want to say. Mm-hmm. I can remember memories of by the time I was 5, I think, playing a PlayStation demo disc with my dad and my actual brother. Sorry. I'm sure most of us are old enough to know what those demo discs used to be like back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And I grew up with that at first, and then went on from there, and it's just kind of grown and grown. I always really liked games. Now, part of it was because, so I grew up with a single mom, and I was the oldest child of my siblings, and so my mom relied on me for a lot of things, as she was holding it down for the rest of us. And so, you know, I had to stay home. You know, like where my siblings were outside and having fun, hanging out. Well, I had to stay home because if they're outside and I'm outside, who's gonna know who's at? And so I had to stay inside the house so that I could, when my mom called, she like, where's your siblings? I'd be like, oh, they're here and they're there, you know, and couldn't do that if I was outside. And so inside, it's like, well, what do you have to do? And so there's only so much Power Rangers that can go around when you're a kid. So you play video games. And so I was kind of almost in a way forced to do nothing but play games. I mean, you could ask for worse. But I think because I was always around them for so long in my childhood and my preteen, teenage years, that it's like it just kind of grew to, you eventually start just getting exposed more and more to it and grow appreciation for it, and you just like start just like wanting to dig in deeper and deeper and deeper. And by the time I came like to an older teenager, I was like, okay, I really like games. Like, it's not just like, oh, cool, I like to play with my, the friends, or play this new game or whatever. It's like, no. I really love this industry. I was like looking up, like when I finally had a laptop, I would every morning I would look up like a couple gaming sites just to see what was going on in the industry, like in the news. That's why I know so much now, is because I started like when I was like 18 or so, and so it's just grown the passion ever since. Now as far as the games that I like to play, it has actually grown over time. When I was a teenager, I was really just mainly big on like the action adventure games, fighting games, racing games, things like that. And I kind of stuck with that with those niches. I actually hated first-person shooters with a passion. Third person was fine, but I hated first person because I hated the stigma and the stereotype that came with it. Like you had like the gamer bros, that usually were associated with playing FPSs, Battlefield, Halo, Call of Duty, such. And I didn't want to be associated with those people or with that stigma. And so I hated playing them, and I stayed away from them for the longest time. Even like Gears of War, I didn't play, even though that was a third-person game. It wasn't until I was like 19 or 18, and I played Metro Last Light, where I was like, whoa, first-person shooters can actually be something a bit better and a bit more than what's stereotypically known for them to be. And ever since then, I've been able, like since that game, I started expanding my scope of genres that I played. And so I actually will play games that I normally wouldn't have, like maybe 10 years ago or so. And sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. And but either way, it's fun. It's nice to play games of all sizes, of all scopes and budgets. You can. I'm not saying because I'm looking for hidden gems, but it's just like sometimes it's hilarious to play these games that are going to be like pretty trash, and then they are. You just like you can't believe that it's actually got through. To me, that's kind of fascinating. But I still stick with those niches that I mentioned. Like as King can attest to, I am playing racing games probably more than he wishes I ever did. I've had him play some with me. But like I'm also getting into the Souls games. I played a few of those in that whole genre. Just got done playing Lies of P on live stream, which I absolutely just fell in love with. But I always go back to those games, and like the platformers from back in the day. I love me a good 3D platformer. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Didn't play a lot of the N64 ones because I didn't have an N64 for a long time. But I did. I played Mario 64 and loved that. I played Mario Sunshine at some points and such. Good stuff. But in what way? Why? What do you mean a masochist?
Because you played the games that are bad, and then you played the fun games that are hard, but you played it in the easiest way possible. Masochist.
Oh yeah. Well, no, here's the thing. If the bad games let me play them easy, I would do that too. Like it's not like I'm purposely choosing to play hard games on hard mode.
Is that what I said?
Whatever. I am going to put my camera on so y'all can see my pretty face.
There you go.
That's not an that's not an invitation of anyone else to, but I'm just going to.
Yes, I've been waiting to see this man.
You put it on the table. You put it down on the table. Now I gotta write you one.
Everybody got it.
Oh yeah. I'll put my song on the table.
Yeah, you put it on the table. Now I gotta put mine on the table now too. There you go. There we go.
All right.
There we go. Everyone put them out on the table. Here we go.
No,
this is for the boys.
Out the cam.
This is for the boys tonight.
I haven't seen Jen in so long.
Dicks out, everyone. Wait a minute.
The whole gang's out here. Hey. So yeah. What was the last question? I think I answered 2 of them, but I don't remember the last one.
I think your life story's done, dude. I mean,
all right,
you pretty much opened up a can of worms. I mean, really, you and the King of Lock. I mean, you guys have been freaking awesome. I've been waiting for this, okay? Because you two together in a setting like this would just be awesome. And then Gemini's here on top of it, which the only thing that could make this even better is if Dave was here with you. I mean, seriously.
Actually, you would want Travis. Travis is the one that you want. He's the screamer. He's the one
would pay Travis to be here right now.
Yeah. Travis is the one you want, but unfortunately he's in another state right now, so that's not. Yeah. He's in Arizona.
Okay, so it's opened up to you guys, and like I said, you got to hit him hard. He said he's only got an hour, apparently. So let's not hurt his chances with his girl. He hasn't been able to see her for a week, so
he'll be okay. He'll be okay. This is the
Ada Jay.
All right, so I guess who wants to ask some questions first?
Okay, he brought it up. I want to talk about this Metro. Okay,
yeah.
Which is your favorite out of all the Metro games?
I've only played one.
Which one?
I have all three, but I've only played one. And it's Last Light, which is the second one.
Okay.
Second one out of the three. Now I have the Metro Redux collection and I have Metro Exodus. I'm looking at them right now, but I haven't played them yet. But Last Light, I played it because it was free on PlayStation Plus on the PS3 years ago, long time ago. And I just happened to I was like, whatever, I'll just download it, and I decided to give it a go. And it was so cool because it reminded me. It was like I imagined what I had with that game is imagining what a lot of people had with BioShock, where yes, it's an FPS, yes, there's a lot of gunplay, but that's not the point. That's just to help you get from point A to point B. The real point is the story that it's trying to tell. And I never knew that a first-person shooter game at that time could tell such a great story as one is Metro. Now, granted, it's based off of the book, so they have a lot of source material to go on. But regardless, they told it really, really well. And I got the platinum for that game. All the trophies. I bought all the DLC that was for it. There was like 6 DLC packs for it. Got them all. That's how much I really liked the game. I had to play it like 3 times though to get both of the endings because the good ending is very finicky. But yeah, it was a great game.
All right. I know you got something to say. Go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, damn. I was gonna say, what possessed you? Damn, Jen is beating my ass right now. I'm trying not to go slow. Oh, what possessed you to play bad games, quote unquote? That some would say bad games. Me.
Yo,
I
just have I had a morbid curiosity from because I worked at GameStop for many years, and you see a lot of games, every day, and you sometimes a lot of this downtime. You're just perusing the shelves, and you're just like, what is this game? And you're just like I have to know. Some people are fine watching it and moving on. For me, that's not enough. I don't even like to watch that stuff. And I'll watch some people if they're funny with it, but most of the time I want to experience for myself. I need to know. So my first bad game was Sonic 06. And so I was like, okay, I've heard all the horror stories. I was like, I gotta see if this is
They're
real.
all true.
They are all true. It took me 10 seconds of actually playing the game to understand that this was going to be the worst decision of my life. Which sucks because the opening cutscene, as Gemini probably attest to, is actually pretty well done. It's even for 06, even for now. If you watch it now, it actually still looks pretty high quality. But then you get hold of controllers and you're just like, what?
It's cutscenes after cutscenes after cutscenes.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of cutscenes, and the in-game cutscenes are pretty crap in my opinion. But when you play the game, you're like, this is a disaster. And so yeah, I played that. I actually played the whole thing. I don't know if I ever told you, Gemini, but I've actually beaten that game 100%.
Did you platinum that?
There's no platinum, which is the only reason why I played it. If there were trophies, I wouldn't have touched it. I wouldn't have touched it if there was trophies. But no, I beat Sonic's storyline, Silver's, and Shadows, and then I got that stupid ending where you play Super Sonic at the end. I did all that, and it was one of the worst experiences of my entire life.
You know how far I got? That initial trailer you were talking about that was dope, the intro to the game?
Yeah.
As soon as that ended, yeah, that was me. I'm good. Game goes off, I'm leaving, I'm done. Thank you, come again, please return my money.
Well, I don't blame you because right after that cutscene, you get an in-game cutscene. and there's like no music, no sound. It's just them talking, and like they're throwing chaos crystals to each other like a million times in that game, and like Sonic, so uncanny. Like he'll like get thrown the chaos. Like I think the chick will like throw the chaos gem or whatever at Sonic, no sound. He just goes, looks at it. It's like, I got it. It's like you needed to do all of that. It's so bad. It's so bad. But that is led from there. And I played other ones throughout the years. But nowadays it's just they're like $1 or $2 on the PSN store, and you're just like, how bad can this be? And you just gotta know. You just gotta know. I don't know why. It's just fun. It's a fun thing for me to do now.
So was that like a hook for you? You're playing bad games so we don't have to?
Yeah, basically it's it.
Like that. You could. I mean, they're also very obscure games too. Like some of them are bad, high-profile games, but a lot of them are you've never heard of. So, like, even if I were to tell you about it, you wouldn't have went out of your way to even find this game in the first place. So,
I also want to mention, old John came in. He took time to come in and check you out. If you want to say hi, John, I know it's been a while since you've been on home away from YouTube, so you remember old John, don't you?
No, yeah. He's an OG from when all this started.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can you forget me?
He was an original.
He's an OG.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, Garjay, how did this partnership with Travis start? If you don't mind me butting in, I don't know if I'm jumping in, right? I don't know, because it's amazing the chemistry you guys have got, or used to have. I don't know if he's still in your videos anymore, because I haven't seen him for a while, but I know your old videos he was in a lot, and I did enjoy them.
Yeah.
How did that all start?
Well, it helps when you're actually friends for 20 years. So that kind of answers the question, like real quickly. But yeah, we've been childhood friends since we were like in grade school. Like we went to daycare together, and it just kind of always grew from there. And he never moved too far away from me before when we were growing up, so like it was easy to keep in touch with him. And yeah, and then like I asked him. It was first with David, but then David moved to Texas, and I didn't have a partner. And the whole point of the channel was to make it more of a buddy thing. And so I was kind of lost and didn't know what to do, and I wasn't really recording much at the time. And then out of nowhere, I was like, well, Travis is around. And so I asked Travis just randomly, I was like, hey, do you want to like be a guest at first? And he was like, okay. And even though our first few weren't as good as like what we grew up, like when we ended up like the last ones that we've done, it was pretty good to start off with as far as chemistry and comfortability. And then eventually I was just like, hey, you want to just do this with me? And he was like, yeah. And so that's how that started. But the chemistry is just because we're actually friends. He is my best friend, and having been friends with someone for 20, 21, 22 years, that helps. So yeah. You can
I got
tell.
A question.
Go ahead, Jim and I. Sorry.
Oh, no, not at all, man. Not at all. So, speaking of chemistry, if we disregard the other members of your channel, David and Travis, you've done a whole bunch of collaborations on your channel with our very own King Lion of Locks, Shut Your Gob, Desert Bee Games, just to name a few.
And hold on, don't while you out here just giving us some, don't forget yourself, Gemini. You gotta start yourself off a little bit.
Dude,
Well, right. To expand on that, then, RJ, in all honesty, in front of everyone, who's been your favourite collab ever?
Oh
No
my
one.
God, that's it.
No one. I
No,
work
you
alone.
Very
You all
smart.
suck.
Very
That's
smart. That's a wise
That's a lie.
man
No
right
pressure.
there.
That's a lie.
Ox.
That is.
That's a lie. It's Gemini. It's Gemini.
He's too
He's
smart.
done more
for
with
that.
him with Gemini.
No. Here's the thing, I can't really count guests on the podcast as a collab because that's not the same format, Now, I would ask, if you want to ask me who was my favorite guest, that's a different question. Now, as far as collabs, I've done one with yourself, Gemini, King. No, actually, King and I not. Okay, I've done a collab with him on his channel, but not on my channel. So that's not a question for me. So for me, that doesn't count. You would have to ask him. which of his collabs were best.
Don't turn this around on King. This isn't about King.
He doesn't like me. He doesn't like me enough.
He doesn't count for me as a collab. I don't have a collab with him. But you do, Rob. I actually did one. If you guys remember Vixie, she wasn't here very long, but I did one with her on Monopoly a long time ago. That was actually a lot of fun. I did one with D-Cobra. D-Cobra and I did one of Neo, which went on for a little while. And I think actually that's it as far as collabs for gameplay goes. So there's only 4 people to choose from. And so, it's like,
no pressure then.
I actually had surprisingly a lot of fun with Vixie. She is like that adorable, cute, nerdy type, it's hilarious. It's like straight out of an anime. It's hilarious. She's not Asian or anything, but it's like right out of an anime. But she was a lot of fun. She played along really well. And I actually really enjoyed my time playing Monopoly with her. So she definitely goes up there. But I mean, it really, for me, is no contest. Like, for those of you who have watched the Resident Evil 6 collab with Gemini, we want to talk about chemistry. The chemistry was right there from the beginning as well. So, as far as I'm concerned, for now at least, Gemini has been he's the collab to beat, so to speak.
Yo.
So yeah, so there's your answer for that.
I enjoy watching YouTube play. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I know how you guys' feelings are about Resident Evil 6, but I'm going to tell you what, you guys have more fun on that game together than I have ever seen anybody have fun. Even myself, I had even said in your comments how me and my nephews have played that game multiplayer, and we've just had a blast. But you guys freaking really have fun on that game. I mean, it's amazing.
You have to, because the game's set.
It's the only way. Like, RJ was the only reason I would subject myself to that torture for so long.
It was funny because I might make him do it again with me off camera.
No,
off camera.
King,
that's crazy.
King, tag in.
No. See how I'm sick that day. I can't even do that.
We're Detective's here. Detective is right. This guy is a Resident Evil legend. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you're playing 6 right now. Detective, tag in.
Yeah, tag in.
I do want to point something out about that game, though. Everybody keeps talking the bad stuff about it, but nobody ever realizes, like, they completely phased Leon out after that game, and nobody even mentions that. Like, where did Leon go?
We'll find out.
Exactly. Yeah, legit. See, that's why the game sucked.
Yes, that's why the game
sucked. No more Leon.
That's why the game sucked. That's crazy.
Look, I played this game when I was younger, and the game was amazing because I got to play as my boy Leon again. It had been years since a Resident Evil game came out. They said they were going back to their original roots of a horror game, which they kind of did in Leon's story, but then you go to Chris's story and it's all action. It's just like straight out shoot it, bow, bow, bow. Everything's dying. There's all kinds of explosions. Then you run into Jake and Sherry, which I love the fan service they did there. It was all like Wesker's bloodline is still out there. Sherry's right. Who? Who's the mom? That's what I want to know. I want to know who the mom is.
King asking the real questions.
Yeah,
and then you got.
Didn't you ask that too, Gemini? Like, who did Wesker? Who did have a son?
And then you got Sherry Birkin. She's continuing the bloodline. She's keeping it going. And then
yeah, but you know who my woman is on that game. It'll never. There's nobody ever going to take Ida's place.
Right, and we're getting to her. Ada Wong.
Ada. Sorry, Ida.
Everybody loves them some Ada Wong.
Ada.
Hers was just. It was difficult because it was like they made you play one player with that one for a while, and then eventually they gave you this other character that didn't really fit at all.
I was Hunk. I was like
basically Hunk, right? No, for sure.
But then you find out it's not Hunk, and you're like, why not? It could just be Hunk. Why not? You just give a random character anyways. Just make him Hunk. Like, But it's like, no. What's the name, Gemini? Was his name Grunt or something? Like, Agent?
His name was Agent.
Agent?
His name was Agent.
No. If he's gonna be nondescript, then just make him Hunk.
we called him we called him Grunt, and that was better.
It's a good enough name. He's off-brand Hunk.
You can love it all you want, and I know a lot of it's nostalgia. Trust me, like, we're all subject to nostalgia, but like, I can't look at this game and okay, Leon's campaign is obviously the best. There is no doubt about it. But for me, even his goes a little bit off the rails like halfway through, and so I'm just like, ugh.
And I'm gonna totally agree with that. As I got older and I played it this last time, following up your guys's, I was dumbfounded by how dumb the mechanics were, how dumb some of the stuff that would happen was, especially playing it on a harder difficulty. I'm just like, it's impossible not to fall or have a partner with you, because the AI is just so dumb. But either way, it was just like, watching you guys play definitely made me jealous. It was like, man, these guys are having so much fun. I need someone who knows what they're doing, someone who's having a good time, because this game is just filling. You know what? I'm about to toss it on the ground.
You gotta have someone with you that also will laugh with you on a lot of the stuff, because otherwise, because if Gemini liked RE6 like he likes Little Nightmares, we would have had problems, because he'd be like, he doesn't want to like get back at me, but he also doesn't agree with me, and so he's in an awkward position. But he's able to see my point of view with this game, so it was easy. So it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is not that great. Because like Leo's campaign does start like a traditional, like, you know, kind of spooky, you know, Resident Evil game. It's slow, it takes its time, it's paced, but then it's like halfway through, it's like cool, wrap up, and all the action, and it's like, whoa, where did all this go? And then the big problem is that it wants to have all this bombastic action, but it still wants the classic RE controls, and it's like, you can't do that. If you want to go action, you got to change how the game plays. You can't be
a little faster.
Yeah, you can't keep it like where it's like, and it's like kind of like pseudo tank controls, like not exactly, but it's like kind of pseudo, and like it doesn't work for a game that wants you to move as much as this game wants you to
run out of stamina too fast.
Yeah, I had the same problem with RE5, because it never came to materialize, but I was actually going to do a collab with Malika Games on RE5, and we actually did have a little bit recorded.
That was such a better game, honestly, though.
Yeah, the problem I had, though, was that game is also a bit more actiony, too, but that game actually has tank control. Like, you can't move when you're aiming. And I'm like, okay, cool, great, but, like, I feel like there's a weird disconnect between the two things. But then again, I'm also not an RE expert, RE veteran or anything, so it could just be me outside looking in. But
hey, no, that's a better view, honestly, because, you know, you're not biased.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think you can have both, because like the RE remakes they give you both, right? Like you're not stuck. You can only move slowly, but at least you can move. At least you have mobility, you know. And I think that works really well. So if they ever do, you know, I know there's rumors about RE5 being remade, and if they do it, then I hope they, you know, let you keep moving while you aim, not stuck. Also, it's like, that makes no sense if you think about it. Why would you just stop? Like, why would you stop? Like, like,
so I can't wait
you'd be able to
I can't
move.
wait to see who your collab guest is on that one.
If I ever do it, we'll have to see. But
now I know he's being shy tonight, but Rapid is definitely. I almost guarantee he's got questions for you, because he's been wanting to talk to you about retro games. So, Rapid, you got something to say?
Yeah, I just want to know, RJ, what's the better game, Resident Evil 6 or Sonic 06?
Ooh. RE6. Because at least that game does work.
Yeah.
Because the problem I have with RE6 is just that the story is absolutely, just for me, the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Even for Resident Evil. And I know Resident Evil's plots already go places, and you need to kind of like, you know, have some disbelief. But even that game was just... Who was the Gemini? What's the name of the boss of the big baddie, the actual baddie? Like, what's his name again?
You don't remember the name of that extremely memorable villain?
Yeah,
classic AAA game.
Michael Vick doesn't exist.
Like, that guy, you know. But anyway, you get the point.
I think it was Simmons, but I'm guessing.
Simmons.
Yeah, no, it's Simmons.
Simmons, that's the name. But like, it's like you don't even, depending on what campaign you play, you may not even run into the guy at all. Like, I don't know if you can run into him on Jake and Sherry's campaign. You might, maybe, but like,
They get shot at.
It's just like you don't even know what's going on. Like who's instigating everything until so later, and it's all kind of just feel like you're kind of just like running aimlessly. But at least the game works, like, it functions, whatever, right? I mean, I have problems with the controls, but like it's whatever. The game does move and it moves forward. Sonic 06, you can't even fucking play that game sometimes. You can't even like you'll just jump and it'll just glitch out and you just fall in the water and you're just like, man. and also the load times on PlayStation 3. I had that copy. I've heard the 360 version is a bit more optimized, but the PlayStation 3 version is even worse. Like you talk to a guy. Okay, you're gonna go talk to a guy, and he's like, hey, and you're like, okay, you talk to him, and then loading screen. Like, okay, and then he tells you the mission thing, whatever you need to do. Like, okay, then loading screen again. You're like, what? And both those loading screens are like 40 seconds long. You're like, wait, you loaded up just for this man to tell me 2 lines of dialogue, and you had to load again, and then you do the mission. If you mess it up, you got to reload that all over again, and it's just that game gives me nightmares. Okay, like that game was absolutely horrendous. So yeah, RE6 is much better. It's a much better game.
Okay, so on retros, I know you talk about Bandicoot. I always mispronounce his name.
Oh, dare you!
Now, what got you to where you like that game so much? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know how I was just exposed to it. I don't remember the origins of me playing the game. I just know that it was something always around me as a child, and I just started playing it more. And then it wasn't until I was like maybe like a teenager when I really fell in love with it, because then I could actually play it properly. Because it's obviously very quaint nowadays, but those games seemed like huge, massive games to us when we were children, right? Like I couldn't beat Spyro. I didn't beat Spyro the first game until I was like 15 for the first time, because and as a kid I always thought it was like such a huge game. Like they're obviously like 2-minute long levels, but like to me as like an 8-year-old, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I even get through all this? It's like the world was so expansive, and it's like, in the bowls, there's like bowls in this one level, like they actually scared me as a kid. I don't know why. Even though they ran at you at like 5 frames a second, but I don't know. It's just one of those things that you just know was always around you, and then as you got older, like you started playing it more and getting more into it because you always liked it back then, but now you really liked it, and it just grows from there. But like I unfortunately don't really have an origin story for Crash.
Now I've got the inside scoop on something, and I want to share it with you. Now, according to King Lion of Locks, he is the big dog of Lies of Pi. There's nobody better than him at that game. He is the all-time champion.
Hold on. I gotta stop you there.
Oh, Lies of P?
I was gonna say, there we go.
Lies of P.
There we go. Okay, everything else is true. But it's Lies of P.
I keep saying why. I have no idea why.
It's funny.
Go ahead.
For someone who's only beaten the demo, it's kind of funny that he can say that. But
I did Trial by Fire. You just didn't see it.
Oh, so none of us saw it?
Yeah. So my fault. So,
How about you show us your purchase history of Lies of P, so we know you have the full game.
Going with the whole
quick pocket watch it.
Have like it didn't happen.
Yeah, quick pocket watch it.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. If you say you got it, let's see it. Prove it. Let's see the Carfax.
Out of all of us, who has 2 separate accounts that they have just for trophy hunting? Raise your hand if you have 2 separate accounts for trophy hunting.
Doesn't have anything to do.
No. Who raise your hand if you have 2 separate accounts, one for trophy hunting, one for content? Because Who else? Anyone?
I
Anyone?
don't, but I'm going to now. I don't, but I'm going to now.
Okay, we got one that's going to now, but like, who has it right now? Raise your hand if you have it right now.
Well, first of all, it's not meant for content and trophy hunting.
One of us is lying. One of us is lying. Who is lying? There we go. Hands up. No. One of us is lying.
Yeah, I will make sure I get the platinum score. The alt account is for games that I want to play, but I don't necessarily want to get the platinums for. They're not. It's not for content. I mean, if I use it for content, yes, but it's mainly meant for games where I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to try to get the platinum for this actively.
See, I was debating on that question because I know how you are about your trophies. Okay, so and everybody else sees it, so I guess it's a good time to bring it up as a question. What is the deal with you and these trophies and these medals? Like, you, from what I get from your videos, you won't even play a game if it doesn't involve getting a trophy. Is that true?
No, because every game has trophies now, so there's no escaping it. It's where like I won't have done something possibly in the game where I wouldn't have normally because if there was a trophy attached to it. That's kind of more along the lines of what you're asking. Now, as far as how it started, so it actually started. So okay, 360 had achievements right out the gate when it came out. Right, it was just built right in. PlayStation trophies weren't a thing until a couple years after the console launched. But I remember it all started because I was at a buddy's house who had a 360 and he had Guitar Hero 2 or something. 2 or 3. And I was just playing it because I like Guitar Hero. He had it, I was at his house. But then I noticed, I was seeing these things called achievements. And I was like, oh, what's this? I was looking into it and it was like, obviously it's like, do certain things, you get an achievement. And I was like, oh, wow, like, I want to try and go for this. Like, go for these. Even though it wasn't for my game, it was for my buddies. I was like, whatever, I'll get them for him or whatever. Most people just kind of just glance by it, they don't even look at it. But I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And so then it was like a really cool way to like, it was like kind of like the new back in the PS2 era and even sooner earlier. Sorry, like a lot of games would come up with like a lot of extras, a lot of unlockables, and you needed to like beat the game with certain difficulties or with certain conditions, stuff like that. You unlock this really cool thing that you wouldn't normally. And I remember always liking that in those games before achievements were even a thing. And so this was like an extension of that to me in my head. Was like, oh, cool, like I can unlock these things if I do this stuff. I mean, yeah, it's nothing in the game, but like to me it functioned the same. And so I started going for them and then in those games. And then I was like always thinking like, man, I wish PlayStation had something like this. It was so cool because I had a PlayStation 3 at the time and none of the games had that. And then they were announcing like, oh, it's gonna have a trophy system. It's gonna function the same way as achievements. And I was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. And it all just started from there. Now, why, like, I can't, like, why, like, it's like to the point where, like, I hate seeing like anything but the full 100%. That's probably a mix of both my OCD and like my slight autism that I have. My mom actually has legit OCD. She needs to go get it tested because it is very apparent she has it. And I got a little bit of it from her. And then I believe I do have a little bit of autism that I do need to get checked on to confirm, but I think both those two things mixed together are just like why like it will bother me if I do not have the 100% trophies for any game that I start. I wish I didn't have it. I wish I was like all of you. I wish I was like King, Gemini, and everyone. They can just see those percentages and not let it bother them, but it bothers me, and so. Here we are, and I think I looked the other day. I have 284 platinums.
That's crazy.
So that
That's beautiful. I'm on your side, RJ.
I would accumulate to a 284,000 gamer score.
Well, see, it needed to be said, man. That right there is what needed to be said because you and your trophies has been a big topic with you and your buddies. So we needed to get that out there. So that's cool.
Okay, yeah. Man, your addiction is okay.
You're among friends.
This is okay. This is the thing to be okay with.
But more so than being okay with it, would it be something that you embrace on the channel? I know that you and I have talked a little bit about it and sort of like dipping your toes in the water, but could it be a topic that you explore moving forward with the channel? I know that you've got a lot of things going on at the moment. You're running like 3 projects back to back, but future of the channel, like a year's time, do you see yourself maybe digging it? I don't know, like maybe a full-blown Lies of P Platinum like edition where you walk through how to get.
Yeah, I've already thought about that actually, because there's actually a very, very well done rating guide that I followed to get my platinum, and I was thinking like, why don't I just make that to a video format? You know, put that whole thing out from like start to finish and did a bunch of cuts and everything. Yeah, it'd be a longer video, like maybe 40 to 50 minutes, but it covers literally where everything is that you need to do to get the platinum, and just narrate over it and provide, maybe provide some lines, some funny dialogue here and there where applicable. But that one would more so try to be as informative as possible. But no, it's definitely crossed my mind, especially with Travis now in Arizona for the foreseeable future. If I want to keep this channel alive, I'm thinking of ways that I can do it by myself. But also, because I don't like doing Let's Plays by myself. Live is different because people can jump in and I can communicate with them, and I do much better with that. By myself, I don't feel as comfortable, and so I gotta look for ways to pivot myself and possibly the channel as a whole. And that is something that I have thought about.
Sounds like you need a wild card.
No, Gemini. No, King. No, I don't.
That's crazy.
Now, what would you say is the hardest achievement you've ever obtained?
Say that because I actually thought of making a video on that too. On top 5 hardest or top 10 hardest trophies I've gotten. There's actually a good handful. So, Gem and I will probably appreciate this. So, I played Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe way back in the day. I know it wasn't the best Mortal Kombat game, but I did play it, and I got the platinum.
Still Mortal Kombat.
I got the platinum for it, and it was a nightmare. It was a fucking nightmare because that game has combo challenges, and if anyone knows anything about fighting games, combo challenges are usually where the pros go to die because the inputs you need to do those things is just. It's like you would never even do this in a tournament anyway, so why are they so strict with this? I don't understand. But you have to do the combo challenges for every character in the game, all of them, and there's 10 each, and I did them all. Some characters were easier than others, but there were some Raiden's number 10 challenge actually made me cry out of frustration. It was so hard because it's like a long combo, but in the middle of it, it wants you to do his teleport move. But you have to do it twice within the same air juggle, and it's just the timing is just so precise. It is absolutely stupid. So his was a nightmare, but I got through that eventually, and I was like, if I can do that, I can do anything, and I did. So got through it all. So that was an insanely hard one, Rapid. I would probably just Google it for yourself if you want to see how tight it is. Speaking with fighting games, I played Persona 4 Arena Ultimax because it was free on PS Plus again years ago, and I was like, oh, well, I don't even know what propelled me to even get it, but I was like, let's fuck it. I just downloaded it and I started playing it, and the main game is fine, but the DLC trophies are what also broke me, and I was in tears for a few of them as well. You want to break that controller right in half. But I got through those. That was harder because that's not a 3D fighter. I mean, I know Mortal Kombat isn't necessarily a 3D fighter, but has 3D models of sorts. But Persona is more 2D style, and it kind of has in the combat, the way the moves are done is not a full fluid motion. It's more kind of like a stop. I don't know what to call it, but it's what I'm talking about. If you watch Guilty Gear, if you watch any of the kind of more anime fighters, they fight kind of similarly, and that's a harder fighting kind of game for me. It always has been. That's why I don't really play Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom. And I've always been more attuned to Soul Calibur, Tekken, Dead or Alive because I like that more fluid. I like the fluidity that those games have.
a good man's game. Tekken's a good man's
And
game.
also, I did play Tekken 8 King yesterday night. It's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm playing it now. I'm training my ghost right out.
I don't know why.
King putting the work in.
They said none of that stuff falls in the main game, so I don't know why you're doing that.
I'm doing the video. It's like it's already titled up. It's gonna be my own worst enemy, and he hasn't beat me yet more than 2 stocks right now, but he's getting better. He's getting better.
I'm just upset that they only had 4 characters in the demo. That's one thing I was upset about. That was like you don't got Law in there, but you have Paul, man. Anyways, we're sidetracked. So that was a really hard one. Mirror's Edge, the first one, not Catalyst, but Mirror's Edge, the first one. That was extremely hard because it's a speedrunning game. I love the game to death. I love Mirror's Edge so much, and it's a shame that it's super underrated. It doesn't really get a lot of love, but I love both the games. But the speedrun trophies that you need to do are, oh man, it's like doing a full chapter of a game, and you have to speedrun it. Like it's not broken up. It's the whole thing from to finish, and it is just, it's crazy. It's so hard to do, and it took me many tries, because if you mess up once halfway through, it's really demoralizing, because so much time is just now gone, and so that was tough. Uncharted 3, not the main game, but the DLC trophies, which were all multiplayer trophies. A couple of those, if I hadn't have been lucky and found 2 guys who were more or less Uncharted 3 multiplayer pros, I don't know if I would have been able to get it, because that multiplayer was set up between competitive and cooperative. And the cooperative stuff, there's like these little mini campaigns of sorts where you do it through 2 other people, and you do like they probably last like 30 to 40 minutes. They're self-contained little mini stories. They're not canon or anything, but you play through them. But each of those maps that you do campaigns on, there's like a special medal that you can win for doing a certain thing within one of the chapters. So for instance, one I'm thinking of right now was at the end of one of the campaigns, there's this statue that you need to protect from people firing it, because I don't remember why, but you need to protect the statue. And there's a medal you can get for taking out everyone's, and like taking out all the enemies before they like do damage to the statue, or like minimal damage to the statue. But you need to get that medal on the 2 hardest difficulties of the game, and it ramps it up very hard, because like if you played Uncharted on hard or crushing difficulty, it can be very difficult, and they just spawn all the enemies, and there's like rocket launcher guys, sniper guys, and the rooftop, like, but these 2 dudes who I found, they knew where everybody was spawning. I don't know how they figured this out, but they knew where all the spawn locations were. They knew where all the super weapons were, exactly where them, and they were like, I was just letting them tell me what to do. I was like, what do you need me to do, boys? Like, and they're like, hey, we're gonna have you go over here, and we're gonna take care of everything else over there. I was like, okay. But it's like in that moment where you know you're the weakest link, but you're just trying your absolute damnedest to make sure that you don't mess up for the team. Like if you play any multiplayer thing, you're just like, oh gosh, I don't want to let my team down, but you know you're the worst player. So I was like, okay, we gotta step up. So like they were like, we're gonna have you snipe. We're gonna have you take out the sniper guys. I was like, okay. I mean, I haven't seen Saving Private Ryan, but there's that bit, the sniper guy on the tower who was just a master sniper. I turned into that guy for like the whole match, and man, but we finally got it. And there's other medals as well for other trophies to get on the 2 hardest difficulties that they helped me with too, but those were nowhere near as hard as that one. And so I was very fortunate to find them, because otherwise I don't know how long it would have taken me to get that. But that was very, very difficult, and which is so funny because the main game, the single player part of the game, where most of the trophies are actually pretty reasonable. And so it's like it's so weird how they wanted to just ramp up everything on the DLC. So yeah, those are 3 that I can think off the top of my head. There are more. Actually, Gemini, I actually have the Mortal Kombat 9 Platinum Trophy. So,
nice, dude. Yeah, well done.
You know the My Kung Fu is Stronger achievement?
Yeah, bro, that took me weeks.
I have it. I got it all in college. and I actually had to drive like an hour and a half to school because I live far away. And so I was like, well, I'm gone the whole day anyways. So every day I was gone, I just turned on the PlayStation and I let a versus mode go and get that 24 hours for every character. That's how I did it. But every day I was just worried, like, is my PlayStation about to blow up like while I'm gone? But I have it, so I even have that. So
I'm really proud of you, dude, because I'm not a trophy hunter. I think I have like 8 platinums like over the course of my life, but Mortal Kombat 9 is one of them, and it wasn't necessarily the hardest, but it definitely took me the longest, because of that sheer you have to play every character for 24 hours. My Kung Fu is Strong took me an entire day of just playing, because I was just like, well, this is fun, I enjoy playing the game. But when you get like 4 characters deep and you've been playing for 3 solid weeks and you're not halfway there, it's like, bro, when will it end?
You realize how big the roster really is when you have the full game with each of them. And PlayStation was even worse because PlayStation had Kratos as a bonus character. And
that's right.
That actually counted. That wasn't.
Yeah, it does.
That counted. I was like.
PlayStation version counts Kratos. Yeah.
This game hates me. This game really hates me, and my PlayStation. So. But yeah. So those are quick. Not really quick, but like those are a few for your answer rapid. But if I read a video, I'm definitely going to have more because there have been plenty.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well done.
What about that game that you played? I keep forgetting the name of it. It's the one with the cup.
Nah, easy.
Easiest platinum he's ever done.
Easy game, so easy.
First try.
Okay, like it's tough for me to remember how it was when I first played it because I had played it before with David. Years ago on the channel. It was like one of our earliest playthroughs we did. We did that co-op. We didn't beat it. We got the Rumor Honey Bottoms, and then we were just done. And I didn't touch it again until I played it on my PlayStation. And I played it a little bit on a different account just to get a feel for it again because I forgot how it played. And then I was like, okay, I think I can do this. But then I played it on live first, and then like people who were joining the chat at the time, because those actually were some good live streams I had playing Cuphead. And people were actually telling me like tips and do this and that, and I was like, oh, okay. So that actually helped me. So when I figured out more of the tricks that the game has to do some of the bosses, it was like it makes the game a lot more manageable. But now that I beat in the full game and DLC on expert mode, it's like, man, it's really hard for me to remember going back because like if I were to play, because the last stream I did on the game, I beat the whole game, the base game at least, with just the pea shooter, with just the base weapon. And so it's like if I can do that, it's like I can't remember like how hard the game is. So actually, Gemini.
Just check out your videos, man. The first time I mentioned it, it was the first one that I seen you. You literally was having a meltdown from one of your videos on there.
I remember one of the streams when I was actually really playing it. Yeah, it was giving me some problems. It was tough when I was streaming it for the first time because especially on expert mode. Expert mode is no joke. Especially when you don't know what the changes are. Mm-hmm. You just know it's expert mode, but you don't know what changes, what's gonna happen. You have no idea, and it's different for every single boss. And so you have to just figure it out as you go. And yeah, like Hildeberg was like the first like hard stop for me. Apparently, it's not the most for most people, but it was for me, and that made me sad. I was very sad.
It affected me. I still refuse to play that game because of the look on your face.
I was a sad boy that day. But if you want to know, if you want to see real meltdown, watch Gemini's first playthrough of it.
Oh, I watched Gemini's playthrough. My days.
That's a meltdown.
Did he cry?
Yeah, but like it wasn't on camera. I think he did it off camera.
Oh no, like I had to take active breaks, right? There was a reason I didn't go live with this thing. Because it brought me to tears on more than one occasion. It cost me a monitor, 2 controllers, a chair. Like no joke. And I have
I'd love to see that one.
honestly, I'm a giant baby, guys. Like for those of you guys that have like just sort of like tuned into me, you guys won't have been familiar, but very early on, I, for some strange reason, decided Cuphead was going to be a game I play on the channel, knowing that my audience tends to react to my outbursts. So I thought, alright, yeah, Cuphead, play a rage game. This will be fun. I can edit out the bits where I feel embarrassed. No, I can't, because that is the entire first playthrough.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There is one point where I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like 50% of the way through, and I am on like attempt 644 of the third hardest boss, and I'm literally sitting there in tears, and I'm just like, and I'm going back through the editing footage, and I'm like, I can't show this to the public. I refuse. I'm not posting the video. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to post the win. So I did. The video's like 20 minutes long, but the accomplishment took me 3 days.
Oh man.
But what he did put in was him punching a monitor. That stayed in.
I left that. I had to leave that because otherwise no one would believe me.
He left that and it, like, he's like yelling, right? He's yelling at, I don't know what boss it was, but he was yelling at the boss because he's dying a lot. He's like swearing up a storm. He's just, you're not a bad, whatever, right? And then he just like, rah, and like goes and punches.
I feel like I've seen this video.
Yeah, because he edited it really well, because he punched it and then it just went like to like that, like kind of noise, and then it just cuts to him just staring at the camera, just staring at the camera.
I don't care if you're an inanimate object.
I thought it was just an edit, but no, I punched the monitor. I broke the monitor.
Yeah, like if I left the video as it was, it just goes black. But so I was like, no, I've got to put an edit in there.
Yeah, it was a dark time, and that's why I before he got to where he was with Cuphead now, I kept telling him, like, bro, stop playing the game. Like, you are, like, I don't like you play. I was like turning into his mom. Like, bro, like, stop. Like, you're hurting yourself.
It did get to a point where I was worried about my health. Like, it was physically painful. It's not. It makes you sick. It makes you feel violently ill.
See, and that's what I'm saying. You guys need to freaking be on here. You know what I mean? Because, like, that's good shit. That's stuff people need to know. You know? You got 3 minutes before the hour. You want to go farther, or you want to end it now, bud?
Well, I was going to say, if you guys, because I know, so last one I watched after the worst was Rapids. And, you know, you have asked a lot of questions about the channel and stuff like that. If you guys want to ask anything about the channel itself, or like YouTube, or, because I know Darker Jen was also putting a lot of stuff in the text chat about questions on YouTube as a whole. So if you guys want to ask anything in regards to that, we can, I can go do a little bit of that before we wrap up.
Okay. I just wanted to run it by it because we're actually having a good time. I mean, you know what I mean? You're enjoying it, and like that stuff with Gemini right there, that's just priceless, you know?
But we also want to make sure he gets to his lady friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, she gets off work in like 5, my time, like 5 or so. But, you know, I gotta take a shower and I gotta drive out. That's why. So she's not like waiting for me right now, but it's I gotta make sure I'm ready to go when she will be, so she's not waiting.
Okay.
Well, I got one about YouTube, just like a little change of pace, and it's real quick and painless. But something, because I've been following your channel for a really long time. But something I've noticed is you do really well with your lives and really well with videos, but I don't think I've ever seen you upload a short. Why?
I don't know how to do it.
Alright, that's your answer, folks. That's it. I'm done.
That's a good answer.
That's literally the answer. Because, okay, I don't like editing at all. Like some people do. I know King, he says he does. He loves to do it. Gemini likes to do it. I hate doing it. I fucking hate it. I like recording. Recording I like to do. I like to record a lot. That's fine. I like, being in front of camera is not a problem for me. Doing stuff, stuff like that, doing the videos is not a problem. But editing, like, I don't have the care or the will to learn the tricks of editing, because there's so much you can do. And because of that, like, I barely figure out, like, how to just...
trophy hunting.
Like, I barely just understand, like, I think cutting clips is cool to me. Like, doing that basic ass shit is cool to me. So let alone all the cool stuff that others able to do is beyond me, and I just don't have the time or care to understand it better. So because of that, by extension, shorts, no. Like I would much rather just get someone to do it for me.
So is it fair to say there's like a lot and it's kind of overwhelming?
Sorry, both of you spoke to more than one time. Fallen,
go ahead. Go ahead. I was just saying there's a lot and it's probably just overwhelming.
There is, like, okay. So I do all the editing for our videos. For anything that goes out, it's been me. Because David has a wife and all that shit. Yeah, it's gonna be too much of a hassle to get him to do it. And Travis doesn't have a laptop or anything to edit with. So it's been me. And when I did Guitar Hero videos, I was rocking Guitar Hero videos, it took me forever to get that syncing right. The audio and the visual syncing. It took me hours for a 4-minute video, right? Which is usually how it goes, right? You put a bunch of work in for like a portion of a second of a video. Because I wanted to get the syncing as perfect as possible. But then even when I would at the start, it would start to desync as the video goes on. Mm-hmm. And I would have to keep doing the edits over and over again. But even then, sometimes it wouldn't work, or I would do something later, but then it would mess up in the beginning and would just like throw everything off. So I hate that. It's like such a slog to me. And so, like that, it was like so hard to even figure that out. And so yeah, like there's just too much, and it's just like I don't even have the interest because I don't have I have a creative mind, but not in that sense, not in the editing sense. I create like maybe ideas of video, stuff like that, but like not in that sense. Creativity comes in different ways, of course, but like, and that's not my way. And so yeah, it's a bummer because I know that's like half the entire YouTube game, but that's just not me. I would rather just have someone do it for me.
So like two things. One, RJ, I'd be more than glad to do shorts for you, buddy. If you want to throw your hat in the shorts ring, I'll be happy to help you out there.
All right.
Also, question for you pertaining to your podcast. How much time goes into research or planning out what you guys discuss, or do you just win?
80% A, 20% B. So because I said earlier, I actively look up gaming news on a daily basis already. I was doing this before the podcast, and I will do this after the podcast because it's my passion, and I always want to know what's going on in this industry that I care about so much. And so because I'm always looking up news on a daily basis, you get exposed to this stuff. So that's how I'm gonna come across it, because I'm always looking up stuff anyways, and then I see the stuff in the news, and I'm just like, oh, that sounds like a good thing we could talk about. And then I tell David, and I'll let him know, and then we go from there. And now sometimes when things are slow, I do have to kind of, now it becomes more of just like fun questions to ask, or things like that, just fun topics to go over. And we kind of do speak for a little bit from the hip. But a lot of times it's because I saw something during the week already, and I'm like, hey, we should talk about this. Then it goes from there.
And then I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the Xbox 360 content getting ready to go bye-bye, like the servers shutting down right now?
Yeah, it's really sad. I think it's going down in summer next year, and it's nice that they gave a lot of notice. Like they announced this like beginning of the year, which is nice because when Sony tried to do it, we didn't have nowhere near as much time to prepare. I think we had like 6-8 months. These guys felt like a year and a half, and I'm hoping that maybe, not I won't say backlash, but the community support will make Xbox maybe rescind that and maybe keep it going a little bit longer. Because when PlayStation tried doing it, they bounced back hard and they rescinded it, and now it's just indefinitely going to stay open, until they decide to let us know again that it's shutting off. And even though I never had a 360 myself personally, it's always just sad when this stuff happens. It's like as I'm becoming older, I'm starting to realize and value the importance of like finding some way to preserve all this stuff. And I know it's not a big pain point for the industry at large, as far as like the publishers and the big people, the big stakeholders involved, but like I think it will become a problem later on if we don't do something about it now. and I just have a bad feeling that, like, you know, years down the line we're going to be kicking ourselves in the foot for not finding a way to hold on to these games somehow, some way.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I can agree with that 100.
It's always sad. It always makes me sad. I mean,
you want to hear a kick in the butt too? They're shutting down on my birthday, July the 29th.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a sad thing. I mean, granted, I don't have a 360, so obviously it doesn't hit me as hard. But for those that still have their copies of those other consoles, I'm sure it's gonna be very, very sad. Like when the Sony one did that, and before we knew it was gonna be, you know, taken back, I immediately went on websites and started making my list of like PS3 games I needed to get before the shutdown. Like, especially games that were only on the store. I was like, oh my gosh, I was breaking this down. I was breaking spreadsheets. I was like getting I was even looking up the DLC that you needed for everything too, because of the store's gone, the DLC's gone too. So I was going into like panic mode immediately. And so I imagine some people are probably doing that with the 360 as well. But because it's a sad thing. It's a very sad thing. I try not to think about it, because every time I do, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question, an actual question. Since your time in YouTube and you learn from other people that you've worked with, is there anything that you have learned or you have grown from since day one RJ to current day RJ?
Yeah, and I think it ties to something, with Gemini's question about, possible avenues to look into. This, like, it is tough because we all have to kind of start looking more critically and introspectively into ourselves and into the channels. The gaming niche in this YouTube game has become so saturated, right? It big or small, it's so saturated. And the Let's Play genre, the subgenre in particular, has become incredibly saturated. It's probably the most saturated out of them all. And so, with that in mind, the lessons I've learned is, we have to find ways to evolve. We have to find ways to stand out. We have to find something that we can provide that may not be as easily replicable from other our peers and our competitors and such. I'm getting very businessy about it, but you got to look at it that way. At least I think so. You have to look at it similarly, because it's a landscape, and unless you don't take this seriously, or unless you don't really care what happens with the channel, you kind of have to have this focus. And so, like, do you bring cool editing to your Let's Plays? Cool, anchor on that. Do you focus on a certain niche? Anchor on that. Do you anchor on playing only tough games? Anchor on that, or some other thing like that, right? Like, and then even when you get to that, figure that out. You got to figure out, okay, what can you do to make yourself even better? Because it's no longer enough to have a microphone, have a webcam, and play any type of game and let that take you off. You got to figure out what you can do more, and I've been realizing that, and whether it's because you're funny, you rage like Gemini, or you like to scream, like probably some of you guys know Halloween. She screams like in every game so many times, unless even if you do any of those things, that's not enough anymore, And you got to look at ways, you got to look at things that lean on what you're really good at, right? Like, for instance, Gemini and I are talking to another friend of ours who is a Resident Evil expert. It's not detective, it's another person. And we're both, looking at, Gemini more so, but we're both looking into, like, okay, he is like a historian on Resident Evil. It's ridiculous. And so we're giving suggestions of, like, okay, instead of just Let's Plays, why not try to make these cool, more creative videos where you can actually flex that historian knowledge of Resident Evil, whether it's top 10s or whether it's like, tiers lists, or whether it's like histories of certain games in the franchise or things like this or whatever. Maybe go into more obscure games like the Umbrella Chronicles or the Darkside Chronicles on the Wii that only people like Gemini and Detective probably know about. Like, that's an example. I'm using him as an example because, like, he was starting with the Let's Play thing. It didn't really go well, and now he's thinking about kind of pointing something else, and it's like you got to think like that. It may not work, but then again, none of this YouTube stuff might work because it's YouTube. But like, I've been realizing that you kind of have to start thinking a bit more critically, a bit more broadly. No, not broadly, but a bit more big picture. There we go, big picture, and think about what you can bring differently to the table. Because, especially for us small guys, like Let's Plays isn't going to cut it anymore. It's really not. And I've been thinking about possibly pivoting away from Let's Plays to something else that I can actually, that I actually can be more of like a authority of sorts, or at least I know more of. I can speak to much more deeply than with a Let's Play, and still provide my personality, charisma, humor that I like to do in the Let's Plays into this too, so that's what I've learned, and I think that's something that all of us here in the chat and all small YouTubers and Twitch streamers alike need to think about, because it's such a saturated market. And unless you can, do something different, we're just going to get lost in the shuffle, Even if we're playing big games. A lot of us like think that if we play the big games, we'll get that clout. Well, maybe, but most likely not. Because if we're playing the big games, who else is playing the big games? The big streamers, the big, the big creators. You're going to get lost regardless. And even if you try to go the route of playing small games, like, cool, you may not have to fight as much, but because it's small, that game doesn't have as much reach, so it sucks, because you're kind of screwed out either way. If I may use Gemini as an example, he's kind of pivoted his channel in a way, from going to the horror game Let's Play style to now kind of going into Little Nightmares theory videos. And even on that Little Nightmares channel, I've been following the video because he's my boy, and I'm gonna support him. But his channel has gone up. Like, he's still in the 6,000 sub range. It's not like he went from 6 to 10, but he's getting.
Yeah, I had this in video opinion.
He's getting legitimate, substantial, steady growth of subs and watch time and views in his channel. And it's substantial. It's not substantial. It's
exponential.
No. Not a growth model. It matters. So in the sense of okay,
significant.
Gemini's videos, I don't know. I'll use it. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'll describe it. So Gemini's videos before.
Maybe organic. Is that what you're looking for? Organic.
I think organic. I'm looking for he's getting the right traffic. There we go. He's getting the right kind of traffic, because all of us, from me to King to Gem to Rap, everyone, right? Okay, we'll make a channel. We'll get it shared out a little bit. We'll get a little bit of traction. Cool. But then we'll get a lot of traction, subs or views or likes or whatever have you, and we look at them and we're like, okay, this looks like a body count, right? And historically, if you look at Gemini's channel, because we talk about this all the time, so I'm sure he's okay with me saying this,
Yeah,
he will get a lot of views in his lot of the videos, right? A lot of views, hundreds of views right before, right when he launches it out, right? But when we talk about it, we're like, I think he kind of became a victim of the bots, of getting that wrong traffic. And this YouTube algorithm, it's an algorithm for a reason. It's always it's always looking, it's always seeing, always watching you and your channel and what happens with it. And it notices that. And so just because you have a lot of views like that, it doesn't mean you're going to get pushed, because Gemini wasn't seeing that much traffic as a result, a lot of sub growth. Because even when you look at the views and you're like, oh, a lot of views, where's my subs at? You weren't getting the right views. You weren't getting the good views. And if you were getting views, well, where's the watch time? There's no watch time to go along with the views. And if you don't have both, YouTube's going to be smart and be like, okay, that's something's fishy here. He's not going to promote you. But when he went to this Little Nightmares theory videos, he wasn't getting the 700,000 views right at the start. He was getting a couple hundred. But he's getting all those hundreds of views are the right views. They're the good views. And he's getting the watch time to go with it, because everyone's going to watch the majority of the video, at least half, right? And he was telling me he was gaining 50, 100 subs, and that's not the thousands, but that's the good subs. That's the good growth, and he's been seeing some success with that so far. He just had a live stream the other day and today where he's getting 50, 60 likes in the stream, in like 20, 30 people steadily in the stream that aren't leaving, and like that's the traffic you want. That's what you're looking for. And you have to pivot, and you have to figure out what works for him. He likes Little Nightmares. It's his freaking game. That's what he loves, and he can speak to it so well. So he was like, let me lean on that. Let me pivot to that for a little bit, see what happens. And it's worked out for him. And likewise, if we all have a game or something within this gaming industry that we can lean on and pivot on, we should do that. And I've been learning that myself because, like I said, like I'm looking at something that I can speak to more clearly on and more emphatically on, and I'm going to try it out and see where it goes. Maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. But that's what I'm thinking about doing at the moment. And I think that's what, we should all at least entertain the thought of, what can we try to do? I thought at first, the fact that I had Travis and or David, it was always like a duo thing, that kind of helped us differentiate ourselves because most Let's Players are by themselves. So I thought having another person, that kind of duo setup would help. And maybe it would have if we had better promotion or better ways to get it out there, but we didn't. So who knows? But it's still not that much of a differentiator. Anyone can go get another partner, like anyone can. I mean, Gemini can grab a crackhead off the street,
right now. Let me holler real loud.
Right there. It's like, anyone can grab someone and play a game with them, whether it's with a video or with a webcam or not. And so, like, that's not necessarily that hard to imitate. But, like, to have the wealth of knowledge that, like, Gemini has on Little Nightmares is, like, and then to be able to, like, construct a theory cohesively on it, providing a lot of facts from different sources and stuff like that together to make like more or less a mini essay, a mini video essay. That's not as replicable. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not as replicable, and so that helps you stand out, and so that's what I've learned. Find a way that you can stand out, because at least for me, I've been noticing, like, I still have a lot of Let's Plays that I'm going to put out on the channel because I've already recorded them and edited them. Mm-hmm. But, I don't think that this is going to be it for me, Chief. Like, if I do want to get anywhere with this, and this was never meant to me to be, like, some kind of crazy, like, career, because I actually do thoroughly enjoy my career, like, my actual marketing career that I have. But I do care enough to where I do want to see some progression with this. I don't want to just be toiling around, spinning my wheels, doing, getting no progress. Right. So, because of that, that's why I think about all this. We should all think about that. Like it's not enough anymore to just put out a Let's Play, whether you have video or audio or both or whatever, and go somewhere with it. We gotta think a little bit outside the box.
Well, I know your girlfriend's gonna be waiting here before long, so before we end this and everything, give your information so that everybody on the stream knows how to get in touch with you and be able to subscribe to you and make you famous.
Well, you can find me at your nearest Taco Bell.
Okay.
I'll be having a double-decker taco on Baja Blast. And or the nearest.
Started on this motherfucking taco hell. I had to come back like the Undertaker. Hold on, man. This motherfucker. He came to my state in shorts. It was like, I need the nearest Taco Bell and the White Castles in shorts, and it was snowing outside. I was like, you are a dumb motherfucker. Respectfully.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't know it was gonna snow. All right, it was March. I didn't think it was going to snow anymore in March, okay? I never been to Ohio in my life, so, whatever. And also, I was totally fine. I just needed a jacket, which I had, so I was cool, all right? And secondly, we don't have White Castle in Washington, so I was like, yo, I need to have me some fucking White Castle. So, it's like,
oh, hell.
We don't have it here. We don't have it. And so there's a lot of stuff we don't have on the West Coast that we do on the East. So I was like, I want to try some stuff over in the East. And so White Castle was number one on that list, and we had some, and I shouldn't have ate it as late as I did, because boy did I feel it the next day. But I imagine if we had ate it at a regular fucking time in night, we'd been fine. See, but King, he's a little young, and I won't say it, but he's a young man, and so he can have that White Castle.
Like me?
Like me.
Okay, I got it. I got the joke.
Yeah, I won't say it, but it's between me and King. But he's a young man, and so he can have that White Castle at 10 p.m. at night and be okay to for the next day. Not anymore. Not me no more. Like, I can't. And even if I wanted to, it's like with my health goals, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm destroying everything, right? So it's just. So when I come by again, we're not having White Castle unless it's like if it's past 9, no White Castle for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly where to. I'm only on YouTube. I guess I'm Casual Hardcore Gamers. That's really the only thing I got. I had a Twitter. I did have a Twitter. It's open, but like, I don't use it. But so even if you follow me there, I won't follow you back because I don't use it.
Okay.
So really just YouTube or here. That's about it.
And that's a good thing to add into. He is a regular on Home Away from YouTube on Discord, so if anybody can't get in touch with him through YouTube, which you should be able to, because if you don't, you've got problems. But if you want to get on Discord or you're on Discord, he's also on there with Home Away from YouTube, so he's always cool to talk to people too. I've never heard you ignore anybody or anything like that, so I know you're pretty good about that. So if anybody wants to,
you've never seen him live stream.
Yeah. He'll forget to look at you for a while.
Okay. I wasn't playing I was playing Liza P. I can't pause it. Okay, I can't pause that game. And then like on Cuphead, I can't pause. I mean, you can, but like. Come on, Gemini. Would you pause Cuphead mid-fight? No, you won't do that.
Not for all the money in the world, no.
Yeah, like, if you're fighting Kenny Coordination for an expert, you're not pausing that mid-fight. I don't care what the chat says. It can tell me my house is burning. Like, okay, cool. It can burn after I finish this fight.
Somebody else call the fire brigade. I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm busy. And I think the whole thing before I played Liza P might have been like, gosh, Wolong, which is also a Souls-like, which you can't pause. So it's like I end up playing these games where it's not optimal for me to pause and me to check the chat. So that's why I don't look at the chat as much. Which I'm sorry.
He doesn't love us, y'all. He doesn't love the chat like that. He doesn't.
Well, I remember a certain video though that I watched where a certain guy by the name of King was playing Liza P, and he had to get up, and he couldn't get up off the chair, and because he couldn't pause the game either.
Yeah, you can't get up. It's a game. So Souls-likes, you can't traditionally pause. That's their whole thing. Like that's like one of the whole things about them is that you don't necessarily pause the games, and so like unless you're in the area with no enemy.
I seen that tripped me out. Like, do you remember that when I'm talking about, King?
Yeah, I had to pee, and so at that moment, like a real one, you either pee on yourself or you hold it and you get a bladder infection. So you know what I did? Peed on myself. You know what? Like a real one.
Yeah, I had to mention it. I didn't want to bring that up. I figured it should be him who said it.
That's how much the man values his chat, see, RJ. That's what you're supposed to do. Pee on yourself once in a while.
He wasn't even live. That's the thing. He wasn't even live. He was recording. He could have just edited it out.
No.
I thought you were live, bro.
Nah.
He wasn't live. He's trying to call me out as if it's the same thing. Like, no, you could have just had the editing figure that out for you, but no, like a real one. You
like a real one. I had to pee on myself to get that dub. It was worth it. And I'll do it again.
Oh man! See, we end these things in the coolest way. Every time, dude, is like it's just amazing how you guys are. You're amazing, and I want to thank you for being here too. This is a big deal. Okay, a lot of people are influenced by you, and like the stuff you said right there, man. You know that's inspiration. That's something that everybody needs to hear, you know, and you're always welcome back on here anytime you want. If you want to be interviewed like this, or if you want to be a part of the panel, you know. And
yeah, if like it was like Infant was saying about Discord, you know, like I am on it. if you guys want to hit me up, ask me anything, feel free.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll get back to you right away, but I'll get back to you.
All right.
Unless you think, then I won't talk to you.
Now, with that being said, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who was here on the panel. You guys did a great job, and you hit him hard, like I said, because he said he only had an hour, and we went over an hour and a half at his choice, but you guys did a great job, and I'd like to welcome each of you back again. And if anybody like this and you guys want to do an interview, you're more than welcome to do it, Jim and I. And this is the way it is when we do these. They're laid back. Okay, we have a good time, so there's no pressure.
If I come back, we gotta have Zach. I'm not doing it again unless Zach comes.
Zach said he wanted to show up, and CJ11 even said he wanted to show up. It's just the timing was off for him because he's in New Zealand or Australia, I believe.
I'm just saying, put it out there. So you let Zach know.
Yeah.
If he wants to have me, if he wants to interview me, he needs to show up.
Yeah. I will. It'll be it'll be all on him.
Yep. You can yell at him.
It's just like Rapid. He does that to me all the time too. He gets me in trouble all the time. He makes me do stuff.
Blame me.
Like stuff that I ain't. Like, did you see this last game me and him's been doing together? I suck at that game, dude, and I'm like a tag along with them. You know what I mean? They're doing all this stuff, and I'm just sitting there dying left and right and stuff. So I understand.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. I'm gonna take off.
And glad you guys were here, and we'll end it now. Thanks for showing up.
Well, have a good night.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks,
See you guys.
Thanks,
Peace,
guys.
be safe.
Take care,
Hey, guys.
Later.